students, welcome to this session. In this session, I'm going to explain you about the chapter which is called as arrays. Okay, so we have completed 3 chapters. So these 3 chapters is from your first unit. So first unit we have completed all the topics. Now we are starting the second unit. Second unit we have the first chapter called as arrays, or it is like your 4th chapter. Coming for the topics that we are going to discuss is like introduction, representation, traversal, insertion as well as deletion. Okay, now first we are going to consider what is array. So array is nothing but, as we discussed, we have discussed the organization of data structure. Under that we have discussed, if you consider data structure, we are going to divide it into 2 major types. One is pre-emitter and non-pre-emitter. Okay, so under non-pre-emitter we will come across linear and non-linear. So under linear we will come across arrays, we will come across stack, queue as well as linked list. Okay, so we are going to study one by one after this arrays chapter. First we are going to complete with arrays, later we are going to study linked list, stack as well as queue. Okay, now the chapter 4 is regarding what is arrays and how to implement arrays, which is a data structure. So array is non-primitive linear data structure. So if you want to define an array, you can consider the previous definition itself, what we have discussed in the first semester, that is array is homogeneous collection of data elements. Or you can also consider array is non-primitive linear data structure where elements are stored in continuous memory allocation. Okay, or you can also consider sequence or sequential memory allocation. So you can consider any of those things. So you can consider array as non-primitive linear data structure where the data will be or elements will be stored in continuous memory allocation or sequential memory allocation. This is important thing that you need to consider. It will be stored in continuous or sequential memory allocation. Okay. Now next we'll discuss the basic thing, which is how to represent the array. So we have already seen the introduction, like the same thing what we have studied, like array will start with 0, it will end at n-1, and array will have sequential memory allocation, and if you want to access any elements, we'll be using index values. So the same thing will be applied for this chapter regarding arrays also. Okay, now again coming for representation. When you consider representation, array will be represented in a sequential memory allocation. So as we discussed, it will be stored sequentially, that is one after the other. So if I declare integer a of 10, so I can store 10 elements of integer data type, and the variable name is what? The variable name is a. Okay, now we can start the index with 0, 1, 2, 3. We are going to continue till 9. Since I have declared 10, I can store 10 elements where the last element will be n-1. If I consider the position, this will be the first position, second position, third position, fourth position, and it will going to continue till 10th position, and the array name is A. Okay, the array name is A and index is 0. Okay, now if I give some values, so I'll consider only say 4 elements, or I'll consider only 5 elements which has been inserted. This will be 4 and this will be 5. Okay, so I'll insert 5 elements, which is like 5, 25, 30, 45 and 52 something. Okay, so you can give some elements there. So I have inserted some elements into the array. Now in these elements we'll have 2 things to consider. One is called as lower bound and the other one is called as upper bound. Okay, so what is lower bound is? Lower bound is the starting index, that is starting position, which is 1, and upper bound is the last position, which is 5. First position is 5, sorry, so first position is 1, and upper bound, which is last position, is 5. So we can also consider the lower bound in terms of 0 and 4 also. In some examples or in some textbooks, they may have used 0 and 4. In some textbooks, they may have used 1 and 5. Okay, that is up to you. We'll be usually using, especially in the terms of representation, we'll be using 1 and 5. Okay, now lower bound will be 1 and upper bound will be 5. So, and next we'll come across what is address, or we'll consider it as base address. Okay, so what is base address? Base address is nothing but the address or the location of the first index or first element. If the array A, we have the first element as 5 and it is located at 200 or some 2000, so this is called as base address. Okay, so by using this base address, we can access any element in the given array. Okay, so for example, we have a formula, like say I want to find address of some A of 3. I want to find what is the address or location of A of 3. Okay, so now what we have the base value, which is, so I can write the formula like base address, which is 2000, plus what is the width? We have something called as width, or we can also consider that as word length. Okay, so we'll consider it as word length, so which will be representing in each and every memory space or in each and every location how many bytes of memory can be stored, or this particular data is occupying how many word length, that is considered as W. Okay, so which can be 1 or 2, that depends on your system that you are using. So we'll consider it as 1. So because you can also consider if it is integer, you will be using 2 bytes. So if your computer can store 16 bits in one word, if your computer can store 16 bits, already you know 1 byte is nothing but how many bits? 8 bits. If it is 2 byte, it is nothing but 16 bit. Your computer can store 16 bits in one memory address, then we are going to consider the width will be 1. Okay, so if you have some data like 4, for example float, if I consider float, if your computer is able to store 16 bits, then the word length will be what? 2, because so 4 will be having 32 bits. So 32 bits cannot be stored in one word length. We'll be using how many word lengths? 2 word lengths, because each word length will be occupying how many bits? 16 bits. But we need how many bits here? 32 bits. In that case, you will be occupying 2 as your word length. Okay, so that depends. You can take the example as 1 itself. Okay, because now whatever system we are using, that will be like 32-bit system or 64-bit system. In that, word length will be 1 itself. Okay, so I will consider the word length as 1, and then I am going to find the address of which location, which index, which is 3. So then I am going to write 3 and minus what is the lower bound value we have? It is 1. Okay, if I calculate this, I will get 1 into 2, which is nothing but again 2. So I will get the value as 2002. So 2000 plus 1 into 2, we are going to get some address as 2002. So this will be 2001 and this will be 2002. And again it will continue 2003, 2004. Okay, so if you observe the third position, the address is what? 2002. Okay, what is the use of this is? So in the array, I'll directly write, I have some 100 elements. I want to find 88 element address. In that case, directly I can write like this. A of 88 will be equal to base address plus what is the element address I want to find? I want to find the address of 88th element. In that case, it will be 87 into 1. So I'm going to get something like 2087. That will be the address of 88th element when you consider an array of 100 elements. Okay, so this formula is used to find the address of any given element. So where first will be BA is nothing but that is base address, W is nothing but your word length, K is nothing but the index that address you want to find, LB stands for lower bound. Okay, so based on this we can find the address of any given element in the array by using this formula when you are using one-dimensional array. Okay, so when you are using one-dimensional array or single-dimensional array, we are using this formula to find out the address of a given element. Okay, so that is about what is representation. In this session we have discussed what is introduction, and we have discussed representation of an array using when it is in one-dimensional array. Okay, so now next we'll go for the other topics, which is like traversal, insertion and deletion. So these three topics we have already discussed in the first chapter, like traversal, insertion as well as deletion. I'm going to explain only briefly here. If you want to study completely, you should just go through insertion and deletion concept in first chapter. Okay, first, what is traversal? Traversal is nothing but accessing each and every element at least once, accessing elements of what data structure at least once. Okay, which is nothing but your traversal. So in essence, if you create an array like this, I have stored some 5 elements, say 15, 20, 7, 8 and 27, and the indexes are like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have a of 0 to 5. So the number of elements I have is 5. So n is 5. Now in this case, we have 5 elements. I need to access all the elements at least once. For this, you can write a printf statement, or you can add those values, or you can do any other function. But only thing is, we need to access all the elements of the array at least once. For this, we can write a simple program or algorithm. So where you can just represent a repeat step 2 for I equals to 0 to n value. N value is 5. What is that step 2? Step 2 is nothing but we are going to print the value of a of I. Okay, and we'll also increment I plus plus. And step 3, or you can write here itself, end loop. And step 3 will be stop. So these 3 lines will be the algorithm for traversal. Okay, so repeat step 2 for I equals to 0 to n. Since we are starting with 0, so it is n minus 1. Since we are starting with 0, we will be writing it as n minus 1. Okay, so from 0 to n minus 1, we will be executing this step 2, where I will be printing the value of a of I, and I will be incrementing I plus plus. And at last, we are going to stop that particular loop. Okay, so next, coming for the next topic, which is insertion. So insertion is nothing but we want to add new element. So I want to add a new element at a given position. Okay, so we'll give the position, or we'll give the index value, and I need to add a new element into that position. So for this, if I consider the same element, what we need is, we need the position or the index where I want to insert. Next, we need the element, which element I want to insert. So suppose here after 20, I need a value called as say 34. After 20, I need 34. In the sense, the position is what? The index value is what? 2. So after 20, I should have 34, and these elements should not be deleted. In that case, what we are going to do is, we are going to move this element to the next position. So we are going to write a for loop like a repeat. So you can write step 2. I'll just represent step 1 as repeat step 2. From where we are going to start? We are going to start I value from the last position. Let us for I equals to n minus 1, 2. From where till where we should do this particular step till it reaches the given index or given position, which is 2. So until it reaches position. What we should do, the step 2 is, what we should do is, we should copy this element to the next position. So I'll write a of I plus 1 equal to a of I. Okay, so in the sense, initially if I try to trace this, initially we have written I equals to n minus 1. It is nothing but I will be 4. As you know, number of elements we have is 5, that we have discussed. Number of elements we have is 5. So n minus 1 will be 4. That is 5 minus 1 will be 4. So when this is I equals to I, this is the condition, and it is greater than position. Since I is greater than position value or greater than or equal to position value, in that case what we are going to do? We are going to write a of I plus 1, that is a of 5 equals to a of 4. So that is the content of a of 4 will be copied to a of 5. So a of 4 we have 27, that will be copied to 25. So in the fifth index I am going to copy 27. So again this step will be repeated. So we are going to decrement I value. If I decrement I value, I will become 3. So again 3 greater than or equal to 2, that is also true. If that is true, 3 plus 1 will be 4, and a of I is a of 3. So a of 3 will be copied to a of 4. So whatever the content of a of 3 is there, that will be copied to a of 4. So I'll get 8 here. So this step will be repeated until it reaches 4. Once it reaches 4, we are going to stop the loop, or we can write end loop. Okay. After ending the loop, the third step will be, we are going to insert this element here. That is, I am going to write a of position equals to element, which is nothing but 34. Okay. After inserting the element, since previously n value was 5, now you can see the n value has increased to 6. So I will write n equals to n plus 1. And then fifth step, we are going to stop that particular algorithm. So this algorithm is used to insert a new element into the array. Okay. Now again, next coming for deletion. Coming for deletion is, if I have these 6 elements, I want to delete this particular element called as 7 from this array. So when I delete this element, this will be empty. Instead of making this empty, I need to copy this 8 into the previous position. That is, 8 will be copied to third position, third index, and 27 will be copied to fourth index. Okay, so that is what it is like deletion. So deletion is in the given array, we want to delete the some element. For this, we can write first step as, before deleting, I will copy the element, which element I want to delete. So I will write element equals to, suppose I want to delete the element at the position or the index value as 3. So from the third index, I want to delete the element. Okay. So now I will be writing element equals to a of position. So that is, I am going to copy 7 into element variable. After that, so step 2 will be from, or we are going to use same, repeat step 3 for I equals to, we will be starting with the position. Okay, for I equals to position to n minus 1. Okay, what we should do? We should do something like a of I equals to a of I plus 1. In the sense, a of I in the sense what we'll get, a of, since we are starting with position, I value will be what? 3. And so if I write a of 3 equal to a of 3 plus 1 will be 4. So the content of a of 4 will be copied to a of 3. So here instead of 3, 7, I am going to get 8. Okay. So and then we are going to increment I plus plus. Okay. So next time when this for loop is repeated, I will become 4. So we are going to write a of 4 equals to a of 5. So once this is done, the content of fifth element or fifth index value will be copied to a of 4. Okay. So once that is done, we are going to end the loop here. And at last, third step, we are going to decrement n value. N value will be equal to n minus 1. And if you want, you can print element which you are deleting. At last, step 5 will be stop. Okay. So this is the algorithm for deleting an element from the given array. Okay. So that is about deletion, insertion as well as traversal. Okay. So make sure that you go through all these three concepts: traversal, insertion as well as deletion, because it has repeated twice. Either you will get a program or you will get an algorithm. Okay. So either you can they may ask what is insertion, and they may also ask what is deletion. Okay. This is about these two topics: what is insertion as well as deletion. In the next session, we will be continuing with the next topics. And after this, we have completed, since we have completed 3 chapters, I am going to forward the questions of all the 3 chapters, and the assignment has to be submitted on your Teachment before some specified date. Okay. Thank you.